What's going on, everyone? It is Joe here, back again with Jar Jar Jargon. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, you already know what I'm going to ask. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Anyway, wanted to talk about episode 5 of Ahsoka today. This is going to be a massive episode from everything we can tell. It is Dave Filoni directed. It is about 50 minutes in length. Even Disney is showing this episode in select theaters, which they haven't really done for any of the other shows, even Kenobi. It tells me that Disney has a lot of confidence in what Dave Filoni put on the screen. I think we are really in for a treat here. So without wasting any more time, let's talk about what the episode itself is going to look like. I do believe we are going to jump right into where we left off in episode 4 with Ahsoka meeting Anakin in the world between worlds. This should be a pretty lengthy sequence of the show. I don't think it's really going to be intercut with anything else. One thing I do want to note, though, is that we do have a shot left over from the trailers. It's one of basically 4 shots left over, which is Hera on the ground at the temple area on Seatos. Now, of course, this could be her finding Ahsoka towards the end of the episode. Maybe Ahsoka has washed up on shore, below that cliff or something along those lines. Hard to say. This could actually be at the beginning of the episode, too. She goes down to the planet. She's contacting Hu Yang and realizing that Ahsoka is gone. That could then thrust us into this World Between Worlds sequence. And like I said, I think it's going to be fairly lengthy and uninterrupted, and this is where I think things are going to get weird. Dave Filoni's not going to hesitate to do anything out of left field here. It's already odd that the World Between Worlds exists in the first place, so I think we're going to see some pretty crazy stuff in here. There's been rumors about maybe seeing Ahsoka fighting Anakin on Mustafar. What I really think that means is that Anakin will possibly be showing Ahsoka that no matter what she did in the past, she couldn't have changed his fate. He still would have become Vader. He still would have turned back to the light because of his son, Luke. I'm really hoping, by the way, that we get a Luke mention in this episode, if not some sort of vision of Luke in the World Between Worlds. That would be great. It would also be great to hear Anakin talk about his son. Getting back on track here, though, the whole entire main point of this episode is going to be for Ahsoka to find some sort of redemption or resolution with what happened with Anakin and her leaving the Jedi Order. Basically, she's going to realize that none of this was her fault, and she's going to become to accept Anakin for who he became, and obviously what came after, and the fact that he redeemed himself. Because from what we've seen so far, she's clearly struggling with that still. We see her comments to Hera about why she left Anakin and why she left Sabine. So clearly there's some sort of internal conflict with what happened in Rebels. And I think she's going to be taking some sort of spiritual journey to find it within herself to forgive Anakin and forgive herself for thinking that she let Anakin down, when in fact, she really didn't. Ahsoka was just doing what she needed to do. But I do think we're going to see a lot of flashbacks in this episode. I'm really hoping we see something that's Clone Wars era. Would love to see Anakin in that Clone Wars armor and a full Phase 2 Clone Wars Rex, voiced by Tamara Morrison, would be freaking awesome. But I think like anything goes in this episode, basically. The cameos are limitless. The possibilities are limitless. There's nothing stopping Dave Filoni from throwing anything in there. Vader, Anakin flashbacks, a young Ahsoka, Rex, even Palpatine, I think is a possibility. We know that the last time we were in the World Between Worlds in Rebels, we did see Palpatine trying to kind of break through the World Between Worlds. Now, obviously, Palpatine is dead, presumably because of the sequels at this time, so I don't know if it would be some sort of flashback there as well. But I really say anything goes. I wouldn't even rule out Padme at this point in time, which would make this some sort of a journey for Anakin as well, which would be really cool. And of course, I've heard some of the theories and rumors going around that this isn't really Anakin, this is a Mortis son, or this is some sort of, illusion she's having of Vader because they don't think the lightsaber looks correct. I think the lightsaber looks right. I think the lighting's a little off, but I don't think we're being fooled here. I think this is Anakin or some sort of embodiment of Anakin. I'm not sure how he's being presented to her because he doesn't quite look like a Force ghost, but it's Anakin. I don't think there's any kind of twist that's going to happen in regards to that. I don't think she's going to have to duel him again. I just want to see her go on the spiritual journey. I don't want to really see her have to face a dark side Anakin or Vader again, unless it's through these visions, through the portals, or some sort of flashback. One interesting tidbit, though, that we really need to think about is how Ahsoka is going to get out of the World Between Worlds. One, we don't even really know how she got in. Perhaps she was pulled in by Morai or Anakin's Force Ghost somehow. perhaps this temple is actually laying over a portal to the world between worlds. It's honestly impossible to tell how she got in, and we don't know how she's gonna get out. Now, my buddy Cantina Talk speculated that she could come out of the portal in the Chimera. As we know, the Lothal temple was transported to the Chimera, as we saw in the season finale of Rebels. So it's hypothetically possible that that is still intact in some way, or they've rebuilt it on the Chimera in this new galaxy, and she just steps out into the new galaxy on THRAWN's ship. That would be pretty crazy. I think that would be an awesome way to kind of get her to the new galaxy. But I have to imagine that Hera and Huyang are going on this journey with her, and that she's going to get there some other way, perhaps by the Purrgil. So it's going to be interesting to see how she gets out of this portal. But I do believe she's going to end up in this new galaxy by the end of the episode, which leads me to my final prediction, which is that at the end of the episode, we are going to get our first glimpse of either THRAWN or Ezra, possibly both of them together. And I think that's gonna kind of set things in motion for episodes 6, 7, and 8. We're gonna get that glimpse of them, and I believe in episode 6 we're gonna get a lot of Ezra, maybe even him communicating with Sabine. I think we're in for a treat, guys. I think this episode is gonna be incredible. I hope I'm not hyping it up too much, but I mean, can you blame me? With what we had at the end of episode 4, we know we're gonna get a lot of Anakin, and we're gonna see a pretty awesome journey for our main character, Ahsoka. Dave Filoni usually knocks out of the park when he's directing as well, so I think it's gonna be pretty great, guys. Let me know what you think of episode 5 and what you're looking forward to the most down in the comments below. Please also hit like and subscribe to the channel, guys. Thanks for watching, as always.
Lolo Venuma Tafa.